In Season 19, Bungie per usual dropped a ton of patch notes breaking down weapons and ability changes, and amongst those changes was a small but noticeable buff to Voidwalker that I think a lot of people are sleeping on. The patch notes for Voidwalker, they give a pretty sizable buff to Nova Bomb Vortex by increasing its projectile speed, radius of the pull impulse, and strength of the pull impulse. This change has made Vortex substantially more viable in PvP and creates an actual discussion around choice between Vortex and Cataclysm for your super on Voidwalker. So I'm going to break down how these changes benefit you in PvP and why Vortex could be a better choice than Cataclysm in some scenarios. But before that, I wanted to highlight the sponsor of this video, HelloFresh. As someone who works full-time, it can be hard to find time to cook your own meals. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. And with HelloFresh, these step-by-step recipes are super easy to follow, and pre-portioned ingredients help me save time in the kitchen. They also have fit and wholesome recipes, making it easy to eat without sacrificing flavor, maintain your goals, and feel good about your food choices with HelloFresh. This is why HelloFresh is my #1 meal kit choice to help me save money I would normally spend eating out. My favorite meal right now is the pecan crusted chicken with honey mustard sauce and lemony apple salad. To try HelloFresh yourself, just click the link below and you'll get 70% off your order plus free shipping, so just click the link below to try HelloFresh today. When discussing the Vortex Super, the first thing we need to discuss is the Vortex function itself. It's designed to have a good sized blast on impact with this Vortex that pulls enemies in and then does roughly 20 damage per tick, which usually finishes the enemy. This makes Vortex Nova Bomb especially good against wells and bubbles, but more specifically bubbles. The reason for this is because with Cataclysm is it detonates on impact, and depending on where the Titan is with their bubble, they may still have enough life and time to get away after the bubble is destroyed. Vortex solves this issue by still doing great damage on impact and having a chance to kill, but then when the enemy tries to escape, that pull impulse will pull them back in to be killed by the remaining Vortex damage. This same Vortex pulse is also helpful for slowing down enemies who are trying to push you if you overshoot your Nova Bomb. Since the radius of the pull impulse has been increased, this allows us to land our Nova Bomb between two enemies, knowing one of them will get pulled back into the Vortex and away from us. This actually ties into another benefit of the buff to Vortex, and that's the fact that it now travels much faster and as a result straighter than Cataclysm since there isn't any tracking. This lack of tracking is actually beneficial since you can be more intentional with where you want your Nova Bomb to land. Before this change, the projectile felt so sluggish it was easy to over-aim or under-aim your intended target, or they would have just enough time to get out the optimal radius of your Nova Bomb. So when firing your Nova Bomb at two targets now, you can land it right between them much easier since you have more control over the path of the Nova Bomb. This lack of tracking is also beneficial for two other reasons. One, you don't need to worry about your Nova Bomb tracking into an enemy as they run away, and as it follows them then impacting a wall or doing no damage. And second, it will go to the specific target you want. It's been way too many times when my Nova Bomb has a mind of its own, and when using Cataclysm, it tracks to the wrong enemy and results in less kills. So while it may seem silly to break down something like a change to Nova Bomb, I truly feel that this change to Vortex has made it a much stronger competitor to Cataclysm, and I find it actually makes more sense to use it in a lot of scenarios. Now for some scenarios that immediately come to mind that would be a great fit for Vortex, and I immediately think of things like Trials or any 3v3 mode, and this is where Vortex would be really great for getting that guaranteed first pick, because you know the travel time and the overall blast radius is guaranteed to get at least 1 or 2 kills. Of course, with Cataclysm, you also get that as well. But what I've found with 3v3 and Cataclysm is often that travel time, the slower moving of the Slova or Cataclysm Nova Bomb. A lot of enemies can often turn around and run if you don't time it just right or catch them off guard. Whereas with Vortex, that travel time is going to really be hard to get away from because it just travels so quickly. And it's also great as well for shutting down supers, specifically something like Smash Titan or Arc Titan Smash, because even though that travels fast and can hit you in the ground, what I found is if you time it right, you can actually fire the Vortex Nova Bomb at your feet to kill the Titan before he's able to land his super on the ground. Vortex is also great in 3v3 and again specifically Trials because of the fact that of that Vortex effect. So what you could do if it goes to time and you got that flag coming up, and in this meta everything is going to time, you can Nova Bomb the point and that Vortex is going to buy you precious extra couple seconds to reposition with your team because you're going to know that they're not going to be able to go onto that point with that Vortex without dying. And the last scenario that really comes to mind for for Vortex is when it comes to threading the needle. What do I mean by that? If you've seen a lot of my clips, a lot of these clips I'm looking down very narrow lanes or very narrow corridors. And with Cataclysm Nova Bomb, you just wouldn't be able to fire your Nova Bomb down those lanes because chances are it's going to track and, like I mentioned, catch on the wall and just detonate prematurely. Versus with the Vortex, because you can fire it in more of a straight line, as you're sliding in or jumping past a corridor, you can time it to where you can kind of what I call thread the needle or shoot the Nova Bomb purely through that lane or directly through that lane and get an easy kill without putting yourself in a lot of danger. Versus with Cataclysm, you have to be a little bit more aware of what's around you because of the size of the Nova Bomb and how it travels. You're really going to want to have a clear path to use that Nova Bomb. So it really limits the type of scenarios you can use it in. You really have to find the right moment to use it without it impacting any kind of structure and making sure that it's not far enough away to where the other team can run away from it. Now that being said, the blast radius, tracking, and additional seekers are all huge pros of Cataclysm that can't be ignored. But for me, I truly value that ability to intentionally aim my Nova Bomb exactly where I want it to go. Having that faster cast time also aids in that accuracy, and I found that since this buff, I've been choosing Vortex over Cataclysm and having a lot of success. Let me know in the comments if you've tried Vortex with the buff and how are you liking it in comparison to Cataclysm. Overall, I would say Cataclysm is a great option in 6s because of the larger blast radius and additional seekers you get. It really creates an opportunity for a lot of multi-kills. But in trials or any kind of 3v3 environments in PvP, I think Vortex and the ability to be more accurate with your Nova Bomb is the move in those competitive modes. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. It's a free way to support the channel, or check out some of my most recent videos showing on the screen now. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.